Hi there, my name is Gina Cappiello. Thank you for joining me today. I'll be taking you through a 30-minute chair yoga session. We'll begin with a little bit of breath work, get into some flexibility, some strengthening, but all you're going to need is a chair, something preferably with a back to it. Now, I prefer to work without shoes on. You're welcome to do the same or keep your shoes on. I prefer to keep them off. If you do keep your shoes off, it's best to have something soft on the left and right and in front of your chair just to pad your feet. But without further ado, let's go ahead and get started. Please find a nice tall seat. Allow your feet to feel nice and grounded here, stacking your ankles underneath of your knees. And then rock a little bit left and right. You can use your hands to remove the flesh out from underneath of your sits bones. This allows us to stack our vertebrae a little bit more effortlessly. Big breath in, and feel free to open mouth, let it go. For this first part, feel free to close your eyes if you'd like, or pick a spot to stare at as we begin to bring our attention a little more internally. You can allow your hands to rest on your thighs or by your sides. But imagine a string is drawing the top of your head just a little bit taller. Belly is nice and relaxed. Feeling it expand on the inhale, and then gently rest on the exhale. Become aware of the quality of your breath. Are you able to take nice long inhales? Or is your breath a little bit more shallow? Feeling it expanding and contracting in your chest space. Without too much effort, begin to breathe from your belly, feeling it expand on the inhale. Allowing your chest to relax just a little bit more. Shoulders are resting. Jaw is released. Notice, are you wrinkling your eyebrows at all? Can you let them soften? Start to notice how long your inhales are and how long your exhales are without judging, just noticing. Begin to lengthen both of the inhale and the exhales. Imagine you could feel your breath expanding even down into your lower back. Maybe inhaling even into your hips. Feeling this three-dimensional quality to our breath. Cognizant of our breath through this practice. There will be occasional exercises that I'll cue you to inhale and exhale with certain movements. your next in-breath, begin bringing your palms to your heart center. Leave just a little bit of space between your palms. Allow your fingertips to touch. Imagining that this space in between our palms is where we're going to hold what is precious to us, setting an intention for practice. What brought you to this class today? Inviting in some gratitude for these capable and able bodies we get to use today. Feeling this intention with one big breath in and an open mouth, audible breath out. Go ahead and exhale all your breath here. And all together, big inhale. Audible exhale. Releasing your palms to your thighs and gently blinking your eyes open if you've closed them. Let's begin with our feet today. Gently rocking to the balls of the feet. Feel your heels lift up. And then opposite direction, heels float down, toes lift up. Go ahead and rock back and forth between these two spaces. And as you continue, start to lengthen how long your holds are and add just a little bit of extra pressure. So keep pressing into the toes, keep pressing into the toes. And then lower, drawing the toes up. Same motion as pressing the heels down. And then slowly release. Let's do this twice more. And lower. Now this next last round, take this as slowly as possible. Slowly lowering the feet down. And then gently, ever so slowly, floating the heels up. Nice and slowly, this might be the trickiest part, controlling the descent. Not too fast, don't let gravity win. And final time, lifting the toes. Beautiful, let them relax. Let's get into the wrists here. So drawing some big circles. You can get your fingers involved as well. They don't always follow a perfect pattern, especially as we get started. So do this without any judgment of yourself. Just notice what this feels like in your wrists and your forearms, gently switching directions. Play around with what shapes you make with your fingers and your wrists. Last one. Beautiful. Now pretend your hands are hovering just in front of you and imagine they're actually sitting on top of a table. We're going to take some wrist glides. Easier said than done. Imagine your wrists are starting to draw a little bit wider than your fingers. Wrists will always lead. Hands are still on this imaginary tabletop, and then gently switch directions. So wrists draw in, fingers are out. Going back and forth here. If this starts to feel a little more comfortable and natural, feel free to speed this up just a tad. But more about quality than speed. You might hear some crinkling and crackling, and that's okay so long as there's no pain. I have 3 rules in my practices. As long as there's no pain, no numbness, and you have to be able to breathe. And have fun, of course. One more time. Out and back in. And let's go ahead and fold the fingers together. So interlace the fingers. Now notice we generally have a natural way that we cross our hands together. I want to encourage us to take the unnatural road. So switch which thumb is on top, and then you'll switch which fingers are on top. This will feel funky at first, Then we're gonna draw some figure eights. Take it slowly until you find it more comfortable and natural. And if you do, feel free to speed it up. It's okay, this is part of the exercise, so if you feel your forearm starting to burn a little bit, that's a good thing, as long as there's no sharp, nervy pain. All right, notice which direction, which hand is on top, right here, and go the opposite direction. Whew. Always takes a second to get that one figured out. All right, challenging just a little bit. See if you can speed it up. This time allowing whatever funky shapes come out to happen. A little bit faster for 3, 2, 1. Good, and rest. We're gonna stretch this a little bit. Go ahead and shake your hands out. And then placing one palm in front of you, take those fingers with the other hand and drift the fingers back or pull the fingers back just a little bit. Noticing how the sensation feels up your arm. That's gonna tell you how far to pull your fingers back. And then go ahead and switch hands. The fingers we're stretching, that palm is facing away from you. Good, and rest. We've got the thumbs too, so gently pull back on each thumb. Can't forget the thumbs. Other hand. Good, and rest. Let's bring our feet just about hip width apart, and you might wiggle a little bit closer towards the edge of your chair. Make sure you're not gonna fall, but we wanna try to loosen up or free some of the hamstrings, the backs of the legs. And then gently windshield wiper the knees left and right. Stay nice and tall. Feel your feet firmly planted down. And this should feel nice on the hips, on the knees. Take a big breath into this. Gently come back to center. So as we've scooshed forward a little bit, make sure your ankles are still underneath of your knees just for stability. And let's get into the elbows now. So reaching your palms out in front of you, imagine you're holding a teacup. And we don't want to spill this tea until a very specific point in this movement. So gently start to draw your elbows wide. Keep facing the palms up, and we're going to bring the palms underneath of the armpits. Now, once the hands successfully go beyond the armpits, that's when we can flip the palms, spill the tea, and sweep the arms back forward. Once we're back to the front, flip the palms up, hold the tea, bring them underneath the armpits, and then spill the tea. Just a couple of these. So these might feel nice on your wrists, your elbows, or your shoulders. Be sure you can still breathe through this movement. Last one. Good. Now stay with palms to face down. We're going to take this in the opposite direction. So sweep your arms nice and wide. Bend the elbows wide, and then find that teacup again. So palms are facing up as they're underneath of our armpits. And serve the tea. Flip the palms, sweep around like you're taking a nice big breaststroke in the pool. Serve the tea. Interesting combination of events happening here, but you get where I'm going with this. One more, nice and wide. Whew. Good, and rest. You might take a couple shoulder shimmies, let that one go. Just as much as we want to learn how to contract our muscles, we also want to learn how to let them go on command. All right, so reaching the palms up. We're gonna do something similar, but this time we're going above the shoulders. Start to let the elbows go wide. Palms come just above the shoulders, and here's where it sometimes feels funny in the elbows. So take your time, slowing down this motion. We wanna press the palms, if I were to turn sideways, palms reach past the shoulders as much as possible. It's okay if you're not quite there. And then we flip the palms to come back forward. Palms face down. Gently press past the shoulders and sweep back around. You can make your sweeping arms nice and broad, like you're gonna give someone a giant hug, or you're taking a nice morning stretch. One more. Press past, sweep around, switching our direction. So palms face up, sweep it back, and then fingers tap the shoulders and come forward. Palms up, reach around, fingers to shoulders. Oops, I forgot to flip my palms there. You could call me on that. Last one, palms up, reach. Fingers to shoulders and forward. Go ahead and let those go. Let's let our arms rest by our sides and do a little shoulder shimmy. We might lean a little bit forwards and backwards. Just letting go of the spine, letting go of the work we just did in the shoulders. Good, and rest. All right, let's bring palms to press in front of our chest. And keeping your feet nice and planted, we're gonna take some rotations. So press to the right, press to the left, gently going back and forth. You might feel this stretching or pulling on some tightness in the middle back. See if you can breathe into that. Two more. This direction, breathe in. Opposite direction, breathe out. Last one. Exhale. Come back to center. Rest your hands. Couple shoulder shrugs. Good, and rest. All right, let's get into the spine a little bit. Worked out the shoulders. They should feel nice and warm. Have your hands planted on top of your knees, or maybe a little bit closer to you, wherever feels most balanced and grounded. And be sure your feet are planted firmly down. Taking a couple of cats and cows here. On an inhale, draw your chest forward and lift your chin up slightly. You might look even further towards the sky, as long as your neck feels okay. If not, keep your chin level and just draw your eyes towards the sky. And now the opposite direction, you can press into your hands, round your upper back, and draw your chin towards your chest. Let's pair this with our breath. Inhale, lifting back up. Exhale, rounding back down. Go ahead and follow the pace of your breath through these movements. Try not to go faster than your breath. Our brains are very smart. They know where we're going. The challenge is to slow down. Last one, lifting all the way up and back down. And let's come to centered meet with a tall spine. Now taking this left and right, let's reach the left hand down by the side of your chair. You can hold on. Sweep the right arm out and wide, and then up and over your head as long as your shoulder feels comfortable. If this bothers your shoulder for any reason, you can also sweep your arm across your chest. Lifting up and over. We want to feel this as a nice side body stretch. And then we'll switch sides. Float the right hand down to the side of your chair. Float the left arm up. Following the pace of our breath. Exhaling down, inhaling up. As you lift the right hand up, keep the right hip firmly planted down. Inhale to lift. Exhale over. One more on each side. And coming to stillness. Let's take the left ankle. First plant firmly through the right foot. Take the left ankle, cross it over the right knee. And we'll let gravity, for the most part, do the work here, drawing this left knee towards the floor. If this feels like plenty of a stretch, generally it's in the left hip. If that's fine, stay right here. You can rest your left hand gently on top of your knee, or hold onto the side of your chair, either one. Now, if you'd like to encourage a slightly deeper stretch, you can rest your hand on your thigh. Inhale to lift your chest nice and tall. And by tipping the pelvis, I'll give you a side view. Tipping the pelvis forward, that also increases the stretch on that left hip. Maybe that's plenty of a stretch. If that's not quite where you'd like it to be, draw your chest forward just a little bit. Doesn't take a lot. And let's hold. Follow the pace of your breath. A little mantra we can keep in mind is inhale tall, exhale extend forward. Inhale tall, exhale extending forward. Keep going. I'm going to bring myself to face forward once again. One more breath in and out. If you've started to draw your chest forward, lean back just slightly so that you're sitting and stacking the vertebrae. Uncross your ankles. Let's take the other side. Right ankle over left thigh. Notice there might be a difference from left to right. It's just information about ourselves. You can also gently draw the toes back on the right foot for a little extra stretch in that hip. Notice how it feels first before you decide to draw yourself any deeper into the stretch. Always tall spine. Always gentle breathing. Allow your shoulders to rest down. Allow your belly to relax. Sometimes when we take ourselves deeper into certain stretches, we compensate by squeezing other areas of the body. Most commonly, shoulders start to shrug up, jaw starts to clench, eyebrows start to furrow. See if we can consciously soften into all of those spaces. Two more breaths. Using your inhale, come back to a tall seat, uncross your legs, and let's get into a little thigh strengthening. So holding on firmly to the sides of your chair, we want to use this to help us stay tall and not lean back. So first, start to straighten out your leg. Point your toes, and then start to squeeze this thigh. Keep pointing your toes. See if you can get that leg to hover off of the ground. It's okay if it's just an inch off the ground. See if you can straighten out at the knee, lifting a little higher. We're here for 3 deep breaths. Inhale. Exhale, shoulders down. Inhale, sit a little bit taller. Exhaling. Last one, give your thigh a little extra squeeze. Keep the hold for the exhale. And take an inhale, float the right foot back down. Good work. Whew. Point and flex the toes, kind of like you're pressing on a gas pedal, just to ease that out of our body. And then firmly ground the right foot. Pressing it down, start to walk your left toes away. Be sure your hands are nice and sturdy, keeping a tall spine. And when you're ready, squeeze that left thigh, point the toes, breathing. Slowly inhale without a rush. You've got one more. Take your time. Staying for the exhale. Imagine there's no hurry to lower our leg. Take a breath in. Float your left foot down with control. Very good. Woo. Point and flex the toes. You might lift the heel and the toes. Good, and rest. Beautiful. Let's take the feet a little bit wider. You might scooch your hips to the edge of the chair so we can free up the back of the legs. And then place your hands on the inner thighs. We're here in goddess pose. So this is to stretch out the inner thighs, but we can also get a little bit of shoulder and collarbone stretch. So start to press into the left leg, taking this left arm nice and long, looking over the right shoulder. You can feel the spine stretching. And maybe if this is comfortable, let your left shoulder drop down towards the floor. Inhaling, lift back up. And we'll take the other side, pressing the right hand firmly into the right thigh. Let that right shoulder come towards the floor, looking over your left shoulder. Following your breath, take this back and forth another 2 or 3 times. Each time is an opportunity to stretch in just a little bit deeper, but that stretch might not even look like it's deeper to the outside eye. You just feel that internally. So we're not rushing this. There's no competition. We're exploring our own bodies. Coming back to center. And toe heeling the feet back together just a little bit, but so that there's still space in between the legs. And let's scooch back on our chair. We're gonna take a ragdoll forward fold. So start to reach your hands down your thighs. Keep your feet nice and firmly planted. And allow your chest to come forward. Hips are reaching back into the chair. Belly button is engaged, just slightly draw it in towards your spine. And now listening to my voice, you're allowed to look down. Look even towards your belly button as long as it doesn't make you feel imbalanced. Let your head hang. You can let yourself fold as far forward as you're comfortable and stable. And if you feel comfortable taking your hands off of your legs, you can grab opposite elbows. And allow the crown of the head to be heavy, floating towards the floor. This stretches the backs of the legs, the lower back, the back of our neck. Take another 3 deep breaths. If ever you start to feel dizzy or like too much blood is rushing to your head, start to come up really slowly, following deep breaths. And we'll do that together in just a breath or 2. See if you can feel your belly expand into your legs as you're folded. Full exhale. If you grabbed your elbows, bring your hands back to your feet and press so that your arms become straight, lengthening out our back. Maybe looking down at the floor underneath of your eyes, walk one hand up to one thigh, pressing into both feet. Other hand up to the other thigh. Keep pressing into your feet, sit nice and tall. Beautiful. And taking your hands just behind your hips, plant them so that your fingers are either pointed forwards, to the sides, or backwards, just listening to how that feels on your shoulders as you start to put some pressure down into the chair. Feet are still grounded. Inhale, feel your chest float up. Maybe your eyes look up. A little back extension after our forward fold. Big exhale. You're welcome to come back to a tall seat or stay for one more. Inhale. And exhale, start to come back. Stacking head over shoulders, over hips. Hands can rest on the thighs. Let's close our practice here with 3 big inhales. Imagine like you're sweeping your arms out, gathering up the clouds. And as you exhale slowly, imagine you're allowing sediment to settle into a lake. Inhaling wide. Exhale, floating the palms down. Last one, nice and wide. Exhale, floating palms down. And when they make it to chest height, bring palms to heart center. Feel free to close your eyes or pick a spot to stare at as we draw our attention back to our intention, keeping a little space between your palms. Once again, honoring and finding gratitude for these capable and able bodies. Thank you all for joining me for this chair yoga class, and enjoy the rest of your day. Namaste.